Well, hello and welcome everyone to another live episode of Jacob's Ladder. I am your host, Jacob Israel, and you are watching the most bizarre show on YouTube on Friday. That's right, it's the end of the week for a lot of people. Most of you are on vacation. I say good for you. Good for you. I don't get a vacation because I got to talk about all the wild stuff going on. And look at this thumbnail. Does it get any more wild than this? I sent that thumbnail to the Dan. That's my wife, Danielle. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Will you do me a favor and hit that like button? Will you tell everybody that you are live right now with Jacob Israel? A lot of people are excited. I see you all in the live chat, and I'm happy that you're here. We have so much to get into. It's just weirder and weirder and weirder, and every time I turn around, there's something else that we need to look at. Now, once again, I'm just a regular guy who's been, looking at things in the world and trying to extrapolate a spiritual meaning. I could be completely off my rocker. And many people have said this, especially in my own family. So why don't we just buckle up and get ready for a little bit of adventure as we look at things through new eyes and we see why everything is as crazy as I believe. Look at that thumbnail. My goodness gracious. We have some news to get into. Yeah, you know, I grew up. I wasn't a very wealthy person. I was pretty poor. Grew up with the nanny, my grandma. Lived with her and my grandfather until I was about 6. Till my mom remarried. She had me very young. Never met my biological father. But I'll tell you one thing. I grew up watching all of the old stuff. And one of the things that I watched, the Smothers Brothers. You know who they were? You remember the Smothers Brothers? We're going to start off easy before we get into Mr. Obama and we get into all the other things. There's a crazy movie that came out about a decade ago, an animated film, CGI film, that everybody says is predictive programming. Before we get into all of that, I want to start here, okay? We got to do things carefully today. We got to do things carefully. And luckily, we got so many people here already. Yeah, smash the like. Smash the like. Y'all get here. You get excited. You forget that that's important. It's important. It does help. But one of the Smothers Brothers, he passed away. You got to tell me in a live chat if you watched back in the day. But as Sister Golden Hair says, Tom Smothers of the two wasn't that funny. That's a kind of a sad thing to say, Sister Golden Hair, especially since he's dead now. But hey, what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? Luke Tweed loves me and says the Smothers Brothers were great. That's a great thing. But, when I saw the word smother, I couldn't help but think of the fact that, this is a very biblical message. A very biblical message, which is 100% like kind of tied into all the other things that we're talking about. He was the older brother of two brothers. They did sketch comedy. They did like musical stuff. They weren't that great, but I enjoyed them growing up. Miriam Noose, thank you very much. I enjoyed them growing up. A lot of people probably that, were older than me probably enjoyed them as well. I'm only 52, but, I grew up like I was 70. That's basically the way I grew up. But they were trending yesterday at 22. The older brother, Tom, passing away before his younger brother, Dick. Tom and Dick. They didn't have a third brother named Harry. That would have been cool, right? Tom, Dick, and Harry. But Tom and Dick, they were like the face of, and I wouldn't mind going back to that time of TV. TV, it seemed a little simpler, seemed a little more, it just seemed a little more pure. I don't know why. Just today, the comedy today is pretty horrible. It's horrible. It has to do with like shoving things up orifices and all that. That's what the comedy today is. It's all about poop jokes. Poop jokes, and I'm not into that. I'm into aliens though. I like aliens. I like talking about aliens. I like the fact that this is something that I've kind of forecast over the years. And I said that we would be approaching a time when not only were aliens kind of like 100% something that the government is going to admit to, but like maybe they're in, talks with. Like maybe they're having meetings, the aliens, they come down, they get together and everybody, they're like, where's Biden? Where's Biden? They're like, oh, he's sleeping. So they bring in his double. If he has a double, I don't know. I think a lot of world leaders have doubles. Most of the stuff that I say here, don't take seriously. These are a lot of jokes. I try to make people laugh. But aliens, they're top of the list. They're top of the list. Maybe you got to tell me in the comment section if you want me to get right into the meat of things. There's a reason why I do things little by little and I save the best for last because I want you to enjoy the whole show. So before we get into all the crazy stuff, let's talk about the fact that they're aliens. Because that's not crazy enough, right? But the ex-NASA chief, he claims that they're already on Earth. Not just that they're on Earth, but that they're literally in communication with our government. Yeah, they're talking about that. That's right. Tucker Carlson. Can I say that he should probably get somebody else to bring on guests in the future for him? The guests that he brings on, it's troubling to me. His last couple of guests, Kevin Spacey, Andrew Tate, they're the reason I don't watch Tucker anymore. I'm like, how can you consider yourself to be like a legitimate journalist? You're bringing on these freaking people. These people that are just like they sus with a capital S. And it's like one after the other, after the other, after the other. Who are you going to bring on next, Tucker? Just weird. It's just strange. But Tucker was telling everybody, he's like, I can't even tell my wife. He made everybody believe for like a week that he had some inside info about the aliens that was so dark that he couldn't, as he said, he couldn't even share with his wife. He explained why he was hesitant to share all these alien stories. He was just so bizarre, so strange. Christine says the Kevin Spacey thing turned me off. Guess what? It turned me off too. If you haven't watched my last show, go watch it. YouTube, for whatever reason, we'll have we got 1,000 people here almost, right? Smash the like. It's helpful. Barely anybody's doing it. I don't know why y'all don't just do it right away. But it is what it is. I got to remind you, I'm grateful. Not going to, shame you if you didn't. But I will say that when you hit the like, it does tell, the powers that be to recommend it so that more people get here. And then we have a big crowd. And then the bigger the crowd, then the more people, watch it. And the more people that watch it, and the more people that share it, the more people that, can probably sleep a little easier at night. A lot of people are having problems sleeping. This is like a study that's out. People are stressed out about everything that's going on. And why wouldn't they be? When you got Tucker Carlson telling everybody that it's so dark and it's so scary and everything else. And then Disney's coming out with a new book to teach babies, ABCs based on Alien. That's right. That's today's news. That's today's news. Disney's like, hey, we got a new book coming out. It's about Alien. Alien the movie. This is too much for me. This is a Friday show. It's a show where we need a meatball to encourage everybody. So I'm here to do it. Thank you for saying that in the live chat. I'm here to I'm trying to encourage you through it all because it's just weird. But turns out, guess what? Tucker. It's like, so dark. I can't even tell you. Got the whole world all up in arms. Like, oh, Tucker's going to come out with some scary alien stuff. And then he's like, oh, I just want to let you know that I don't have any real info. This is all just like hearsay. If I had real info, I would share it. So what were you sharing last week, Tucker? Can anybody tell me what Tucker was sharing? He didn't say, oh, I heard stories, but it's not like, it's not like something that I can really report on. Because if it was something that he could report on, he probably would report on it instead of reporting on it and then saying, I shouldn't have reported on it because I don't have any real information. If I did, I would tell you. But you told us anyway, Tucker. You got everybody freaked out. Isn't that right? TL Stock, who, by the way, hit a super chat for $10. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. All that helps. Everything that you all do, it helps. By the way, I get a lot of super thanks afterwards. I guess in the comment section, you can hit a super thank. If you're not here for the live show, I see those comments first. So I'm grateful to those people that take the time to spend, like $1.99, $10, whatever you do. Thank you. And thank you for those in the live chat. But it's just too much with Tucker. Him with his pillow. You want to know what I'm talking about? Watch my last show. Okay, let's get into this stuff. Now, President Obama, he went into the presidency. He didn't have a lot of money. He was pretty educated. He's got a lot of stuff going on, him and Michelle. But I mean, my goodness, what, maybe like $200,000 a year, $300,000 a year tops. He leaves the presidency after 8 years. He's like a multi-gabillionaire. He's got so much money, he doesn't know what to do with it. He's producing Netflix movies and hiding stuff in the Netflix movies that I got to do stuff on. A lot of people doing stuff on. I don't know if you saw that movie on Netflix, To Leave the World Behind, where the deers showed up, got everybody freaked out. The poster of it had like I Am Bale hidden in it. A lot of weird stuff, right? Had 666 in like the opening scene. Donut. I just talked to the Donut. We're going to try to call the Donut, by the way, on today's show. He didn't respond back to me, but I told him I was going to probably call him because, as per usual, in this niche world where we see weird things, it's not very strange for me or Marv or Alex or others to kind of, latch down on these weird stories. He was talking about some things with the old Obama and the fact that he visited a Chicago school just recently. Now, I was doing the same thing. I was in the middle of getting that show together, and as I was putting out my last show, I saw that his show was up, so I called him, and I was like, wow! So we started exchanging notes, which is great. And by the way, I encourage all of you to exchange notes with me. If you have some insight or you have some ideas, as long as it's not, stuff that could get me in trouble. I don't want to know anything. Go to the bigger channels or like the real networks for that, because it's just me here. Me here and a computer and an iPhone 11. That's all I got going on. It may look like it's something big, but it's not. But we exchanged some notes because I saw that he was at this school, and it reminded me of this video, this CGI video that was done back in the day. That was about a pet goat. You probably remember it, right? I'm going to show you this right here, just so you can get an idea. So there in the lower left-hand corner, who remembers this bizarre video from CGI Brothers? They are very strange. Willow Dreams, I'm sure you're very familiar. They are very strange, and they did this one video that a lot of us thought would be like predictive programming. And in the video, and I'm going to show you a little bit of it, it starts off in a classroom, and it basically starts off with that famous classroom right before, the twins were attacked, where Bush was reading that book to a classroom, which he was holding upside down, by the way, which, that's really probably wasn't done on purpose at all. But in the video, he kind of changes. So it looks like him, and then all of a sudden, then it becomes Obama. and he's in the chair in the classroom in this animated show, and he has a graduation cap on, a motorboard, and he's laughing and he's having a good old time. And it's strange because if you look at where he's sitting right next to the letter F. By the way, the letter F is the sixth letter of the alphabet. I don't know if you meatballs out there know that, but F is number 6. It's the 6th letter. So he makes this surprise visit to the Chicago school to read them this Christmas story, which is called Santa's Gotta Go. And of course, if Santa is, a picture of Satan, I'm not saying it is, but it's close, right? It's close. Santa's definitely got to go. That would be the day that we're in, where Santa is going. So he's reading this book, which, by the way, was by an author who, what is his name again? His name is Derek Barnes. He's a best-selling author. He's very, very, he's very into all the stuff that's happening with his community and everything else. And, I don't want to get into all of that stuff. I wish people would just write books that are specific to everybody, but this was very, very specific. And it was strange because when I saw Obama in the classroom sitting in that chair, I said, oh my goodness, it looks just like that video where Obama's sitting in that chair next to the woman. Who saw this? Truth Seeker is in the audience right now saying that the show is great. Truth Seeker, I applaud you, my friend. He's got some great stuff. I've been on his show. You should check him out. Subscribe to his channel, of course. Some of the stuff he's doing is very cool. He's another one probably dug into all this weird stuff too. But I promise you, nobody's talked about this yet. Who here, tell me in the live chat I'm watching, I want to see how many of you are paying attention, how many of you watched the last show. Do you remember the animal that I was I just couldn't get away from? I was talking about because of Kanye's latest album. Does anybody remember the name of it? That's right, it was the vulture. The vulture. And I talked about how the vulture in scripture is it's like the symbol of where you see the vultures circling, the end is there. What happens after the vultures is there's an eclipse. Then the moon doesn't give her light. Then stars fall from the sky. It's the end. You might want to have a bunker at that point in time, some say, but then again, the scriptures remind you that it's better to serve God because the people that don't serve God, they got the bunkers. And a lot of people right now, they're buying the bunkers. Zuckerberg's got the bunker, right? We heard Biden's got the bunker. He put a bunker in the Delaware. All of a sudden, everybody's doing it this year. Is it fake news? Is it just to get everybody freaked out? All these people buying these multi-million-dollar bunkers. What's Jacob doing? Jacob's doing nothing. Jacob's hoping that the Piqua that he put down the drain is going to help out, so he doesn't have to replace the dishwasher that hasn't worked in a long time because it got stuff that's flooding into the kitchen. Jacob doesn't have no bunker. I don't got no bunker. Am I stressed about it? I'm not stressed about it. I'm not stressed about it. If God is real, and I believe God is, I believe that I serve God, I got to trust that God's going to place me where I'm supposed to be. And so are you. That's why this is an exciting time to be alive. But when the vultures start circling, you start hearing about the vultures, you start seeing the vultures everywhere, you know what happens next in Scripture? It's the end. Now take a wild guess. What was the letter of the day? Can anybody tell me? What was the letter of the day when Obama was teaching at the old Chicago school and he was reading Santa's Gotta Go? It was all about the Vive. I say the Vive because there's a capital V and a little V. It's all about the Vav. The Vav, which is the 6th letter of the Hebrew alphabet. So he's literally sitting next to, on the board, it says all about V. So there's a V, there's a 6, there's a V, there's a 6, there's a V, there's a 6, 6, 6, 6, all on a blue board, which is what the Alex talked about, the donut. Should we call him up? Let's call him up. He's not even, he didn't respond to me. Let's call him up just because, you know what? He's such a nice guy, and I think it would be fun. Let's see. Hey Siri, call Alex Donut. See if he answers. Let's see if he answers. He's not expecting this, Alex. He's probably not gonna. Thank you, G Squared, for the super chat. He's probably not gonna answer. That's all right. But I'm calling him because I like the stuff. Oh, hang on a second. He did answer. Do you know that you're live right now with me?
Yo, what up?
Dude, you're live with me. Did you know that I was going to call you?
Yeah.
You did?
I sure did.
All right, so listen. Tell me about this. I'm going to put over the picture. Tell me what did you get out of, Obama when he visited the school? Keeping in mind that we're live right now on the YouTube.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, what I got out of it is he just released a huge production, which goes into a lot of thought goes into each frame of each movie in film school. And that was his first appearance after that big movie with over 40 million people watching it, with like just a ton of messaging in it.
So this was his first appearance. I didn't know that.
Well, the first appearance that I know of, maybe it wasn't, but like it could have not been, but it was the first time I saw him.
What stood out the most about that to you?
Well, it was so much like the iPad Go in the George Bush in the classroom. It had the same vibe,
right?
Cinematically,
right. Now you said something. There was something about the blue. You were talking about the blue.
Yeah. So when he's on the right behind him, there's blues with the letter V.
Right. All about the V. Right. The Vav.
The Vav, and Vav is the sixth letter.
Mm-hmm.
So the blue frequency was also told to be at like a 666 hertz.
Right.
And Obama, if you see the movie he made, there's a scene in the beginning where it says 666 and there's a blue background.
Blue background, right.
And on his birthday, you could donate $6.60 or $600.
Come on, are you serious?
Yeah. And then like Joe Biden did his 666.
Yeah, he did his 666 thing. That's true. That's right.
So it's just weird, but that definitely stood out. But what really stood out is like that little scene. It looks so not planned out, right?
It does, right?
It's a one take. But
right.
If you watch music videos, they do one take videos. The whole thing was very well coordinated. Every single thing was in there, and I think that's what really fascinates me, is not everything we see on the world stage that are huge highlights. They're planned out in a sense of camera angles and all that.
Yeah, because it like, if I put the I have the picture up right now. Do you know that he was sitting right next to the letter F when he was reading? Like if we're looking at the bottom of the screen right now, you'll see that Obama's reading his book and he's right next to the letter F. But if you look at the video from back about 10 years ago with from CGI Brothers, Heliofont, he's sitting right next to the F too.
Oh, wow.
Wow. It's just really strange. So you see, like, they're both sitting in the same kind of chair. They're both sitting in the same type of, and I haven't even gotten into, Alex, I haven't even told them about the hats yet. Like the hats, the fact that he's wearing the Santa hat and that Obama in that video is wearing the miter, not the miter, the motorboard. There's a connection between these hats, which is wild.
Right. And I'm looking at the video too. There's just in the iPad Go thing, I see there's a dragon. We're coming up on the year of the dragon.
Right.
We're leaving the rabbit and going into the dragon. There's just so much.
And and then the picture of Obama where he's sitting in the classroom, you see year 2024 in the box and then 2025 below it, which is strange. But what is even weirder is the fact that
it's crazy.
Yeah, and on the board, the fact that it's all about the letter V, and the word that they use for the V is vulture. Which, didn't you just talk about vultures too?
Right. So it's vulture. Kanye just dropped his vulture, and he's like, oh yeah, that's the way that I see the world, how it works, sort of with a simulacrum.
Right.
Back in the day, you might just need a television with just 3 stations to tell you, like, oh, this is what to believe. But today we're so overstimulated that we can get messaging, subconscious programming for a vote or for buying a product on so many different levels. I don't know if I said that clear enough.
No, I think you did. I think you did. What are you up to today? What are you doing right now?
I wasn't feeling too well last night, so I'm just drinking some coffee and taking it easy.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I want to thank you, and everybody here wants to thank you. They're all so excited. Everybody's like, the donut. By the way, he has a YouTube channel. It's DOENUT. So go and subscribe to him. He's an awesome dude. Someone that we've kind of become friends, haven't we?
Oh, I think we're very close now.
Yeah, and you don't limp anymore either.
Oh no, I don't. No, I went to the gym yesterday. I think I just been on the go I'm just working a lot. So
Are you overwhelmed? Are you overwhelmed too? Like you feel like you're just overburdened? Like there's so much to get out, and it's like I feel that way.
Yeah, I am. I am for sure.
Well, we're proud of you, Alex. All right, we'll talk to you later. Thank you so much for taking the call, brother. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, love you.
All right, love you too, man. Hey, share this video around, Alex. Hit the like.
Smash the like button.
Hit the like. I'll talk to you, bro. Be good.
Okay.
Yeah, so there you have it, huh? How crazy is that? Little old Alex and little old Jacob talking about the same thing at the same time. But there's no denying the fact that it's just strange. Here he is sitting next to the F. You look at the bottom. What are the odds? 10 years in between, he's in a classroom and he's going to be sitting next to an F. In both. I mean, in both. It's just, it seems to me like there's something else going on. Seems to me like we are missing something on a global scale that needs to be taken care of. As Ali in Wonderland says, thank you for the super chat. Everything's good, though, in the grand scheme of things. It's all good. But there is the letter F, and it's the number 6. There is all about vultures, and it is the 6th letter, the Vav of the alphabet, 666. Why on earth is this something that I want to talk about? Because it's weird. Now, why is it weird? The Dan, my wife, my beautiful wife. We all know the Dan. We all love the Dan. She's my best buddy. Right now, she took Ethan to basketball practice. And that's why I scheduled it at this time. So I'm glad that everybody made it. She said, I've been teaching for years, and I've never seen a vulture under V. I've seen violins. I've seen vans, but I've never seen a vulture. So she goes on her phone and she starts looking up, like classroom, V, stuff to hang in the background. She can't find a vulture anywhere. Very strange, don't you think? That you got Kanye's Vultures coming out, which, by the way, let me see if I have a picture of this. Here we go. I'm going to pull this up. Take a look at that. My last show. Watch my last show if you haven't. It's under videos, not live. This is live. YouTube is a little weird the way you have to navigate today. But if you look at the top left-hand corner of the screen, you'll see I did a video in 2021 where I compared false prophets and liars with vultures, and I talked about the vultures that were going to come in the end. And I was relating this message to what Jesus talked about in the Gospels, that when you see the vultures circling overhead, you know that the end is here. And I found it strange that he's releasing an album called Vultures on January 12th, 2024, which is exactly 2 years, 2 months, 1 week, and 1 day in between the video that I did. 22/11. 11/22. 11/22, 22/11. This is a big thing on the channel, these numbers. If you're new. And I appreciate you sticking around if you're new, because this probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but this is something I've been talking about, these numbers. So the Vav, of course, is the number 6. It's also very, it's well known if you drink energy drinks. There's the Monster logo right there. Thank you very much, Lyle. Hey, man, it's good to see you in the super chat. I appreciate it. God bless you. I'm so grateful to all of you that take the time to super chat me. That means a lot. That means a lot. The Monster 666. The Monster. Because monster is another name for a beast. A beast, a monster. They're connected. 666 is the number of the beast. It's the number of the monster. So you got him sitting next to the letter F, just like that video, which I find strange, wearing the same type of a cap that he's wearing in the other video, which I find strange. We're going to get into that in a second. But monster being the word of the day, monster. The Trumpster, he says that the 2024, it's going to be a monster of a year. Who heard that? Did anybody hear that? We got a lot of people watching. For whatever reason, it basically shows me that nobody's hit the like button on my end. I'm sure a lot more of you have. If you would do it, just if you'd X out of chat right now and you just hit that like, you know why? It really does help people to learn about the show, to hear about the show, to come and join us and learn about it. Why Unleashing the Beast, which is the monster slogan, is something that's probably going to be appropriate for the days to come. Because we're going to see, in my opinion, once again, I don't know. I don't got no inside scoop, except for what the intuition tells me, the Lord. I feel like we're going to see people become very beastly, and I think we're going to see people become very godly. And as the world gets darker and darker, we're going to see more people become brighter and brighter. I'm not that stressed. I don't want you to be stressed. I'll tell you, the people that are going to be stressed are the people that are messed up. But this whole thing with Obama, it's weird. And I'm talking, Leslie, thank you for the super chat. It's weird, not just because his chef just passed away after he was going out and doing something to enjoy himself. It's weird. But it's weird because we go to this actual video, I'm going to pull this up. I just want to show you, and I don't want to get hit with a copyright, so I'm going to show you. But the video starts off, you see George Bush here, And he's next to the 6th and the 6th, right? He's in this video and he kind of like changes. He says, fool me once, shame on me, fool me twice, he can't figure it out. And then he becomes Mr. Obama, right next to the F. Just like how he's next to the F in that video. But here's where it gets weird, you know? It's kind of like the next part of the story is Obama starts to get a little nervous. He gets a little stressed out. And then the camera pulls outside and it's the winter. But what's weird about the winter is the fact that we see a number. I don't know if you can see this number. Let's take a look. It's from a famous psalm. Let's see if I can just play it for a sec. Boom. There it is, 23. And here we are in the year 2023. So it's just coincidental. And of course, we know Psalms 23, Leslie. We know that that is an important thing. Ken knows it, right, Ken Snee? But as it continues out, we see what? We see the divided states of America completely ripped to shreds. Right down the middle, in half. At what? At midnight. And as this goes, it continues. You know what's funny is we start to see all of these different like religions. You should go watch this. I'm not going to play any more of it. But we see all of these famous figures from different religions like Hinduism or whatever, you know, Islam. We see all of their famous figures all kind of becoming very dominant in the video, as if somehow every single major holy book and every single major, you know, religion and all that, somehow in this moment, there are signs that lead to this. And do you know that there are signs? Like every single major religion right now thinks this is it. This is the end. But the end is not a bad thing. The end is also the beginning of something really good. So I don't want to get people stressed out. That being said, let me just move down to this next thing. So immediately after all that, I start thinking to myself, well, you know, there's got to be more of a coincidence than, you know, Obama sitting next to the F in both videos 10 years ago and then just a little while ago, just like, what, a week or so ago. Thank you, Rhonda Peterson, for the super chat. I am everybody's favorite meatball. By the way, the meatball hat still available. It's going to be available until like the middle of January. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wear it for the rest of the show because I like the way it feels. And also because Ethan and Noah, when I gave that to them, they both wore it all night on Christmas. I thought it was so cute. They were wearing the hat all day long. It was great. All about the V, the Vultures. Now, in Matthew 24, verse 26 through 29, this is about the end, okay? If anyone tells you that Christ is out in the wilderness, don't go. If they say, here he is, he's in an inner room, a secret place, don't believe them. You don't need any secret information. You don't need to belong to any super secret clubs or, you know, do anything to get involved, to get the secrets. All you got to do is pray and ask God. God will reveal himself. You don't need to follow anybody. You don't need to go anywhere. Because as lightning comes from the east and it's visible in the west, so will the coming. That word coming in Greek means erchome. It means to be revealed, manifested. It means to be like something's hidden and then it's revealed. It's like you don't get it and then you get it. The Son of Man is going to come that way. Wherever there is a carcass, and that just means a dead body that's, you know, that can be preyed upon. Wherever there is a carcass that can be preyed upon, there the vultures will gather. And see, this is the problem. Is today we got a lot of carcasses. We got a lot of people that are like ignorant people. Got a lot of dead people out there. A lot of people that are just going about the whatever. They're very selfish. They're very self-absorbed. Carcasses. And the eagles are gathering, the vultures. That's another word for vulture is eagle. But when you see eagle in Scripture in the King James, it means vulture. When you see the vultures circling, and the vultures are circling, I don't know if you noticed, that's the end. Immediately after those days that, by the way, are known for their distress. Would you say that this is distressing? Would you say that we've been through some distressing times recently? I would. Do you see vultures? I see vultures. And it's just weird because I did a whole video, 2 years, 2 months, 1 week and 1 day, 22/11, about the vultures. So strange. But you know what happens next? The sun is darkened after the vultures. Guess what's happening in April? We got the Great American Eclipse. Michael says he loves what I'm doing. I appreciate that. Thank you, Michael. I love what you're doing. Thank you for the super chat. Then we got an eclipse coming. 2024, April. 2 eclipses, the ones that I talked about, and I said that this would be the time. It was like 6 years, 6 months, 6 weeks, 6 days in between these 2 eclipses. It was crazy. Like legit. Halfway in between them, December 14th, I said Jacob's time of trouble would start, and that's when the first wackadoo came out and a lot of other weird things. It's interesting. In my head, I think this is a pretty cool time to be alive. Now, Santa's hat. You see the little thing here? Santa's hat comes from a bishop's hat. St. Nicholas wore what was called a mitre. A mitre is it looks like a fish. Looks like a fish. Right below Obama, you see the mitre. A mitre is very similar to a biretta, which is also worn. It's a 4-rounded, ridged hat worn by Roman Catholics in like leadership and educational positions. This is where we get the motorboard, which is that graduation, which looks, a lot of people say, is Saturn. But the two are connected. The mitre and the biretta, they're connected. So the fact that the two of them are wearing basically the same origins of the same hat, sitting next to the same letter, which is the same number, I say that's cool. And that's something that Lauren Sawyer gets excited about when she's leaving me that 111 super chat. Thank you, Lauren. It's weird. It's very weird. All of this stuff is strange. But speaking of monsters, the vav. Speaking of monsters, guess who's got some merch coming out? Now, once again, I'm not putting the guy down. I'm not going to be one of them people that are going to say he's the bad guy, because you know what? I believe that God puts everybody in place where they need to be, where they need to be, and when they need to be it. And right now we got a lot of weird things going on with the Trumpster. But at the Trump store, you can go and you can buy this monster hat, which some people like to point out. They like to say it's Moon Star, the Moon Star, instead of Monster. But I think it's cooler as Monster. And of course, right next to it is the Space Force hat, which, very clearly it's the upside down Baphomet. That's what it looks like. Looks like the goat with the star and the horns. But not just that, I could take that monster hat and I can raise it and I can say, well, guess what? There's a lot of news having to do with the monster and the Trumpster. Robert De Niro slamming the monster, Donald Trump. And Nikki Haley is chipping away at the monster lead that he has in New Hampshire. So long as they don't take him off the ballot, which is what they're doing. A lot of weird stuff with the Trumpster. Space Force hat, I just think is strange. Like, who's in charge of your merch, man? This is a Economist magazine article that just came out that many supporters believe that God has chosen them to rule. Newsflash, God chose Biden to rule. Everybody who's in charge, God chose. If you're a wicked people, you're going to get a wicked ruler. If you're a good people, you're going to get a good ruler. Why don't we get our act together so we can get a good ruler, huh? MAGA, of course, in Latin means witch, mage, magic. And you know that for years I've been a little suspect. I'm getting a little hot with the hat on, and I'm going to take the jacket off. Getting a little hot. This stuff with him, it's just, people get so divided over it. I feel bad because I don't want, I want good things to happen. But, it's like we had the stuff with the Colorado. Now we got stuff with Maine. I don't know if you heard, he's not on the ballot over there in Maine now. That's a new thing happening. He's kicked off the ballot, and of course the lady that did it, she's like making the rounds. She's having so much fun. She's like smiling, and people, you would call that duper's delight. She's like the first person to ever do this, supposedly, and she's like, I'm bragging about it, Prophet Bear, right? He said, the Spirit told me to say Space Jam movie had the Monstars. Oh, Space Jam had Monstars versus Toon Squad. I like that. Monstars. Maybe there's something to it, because, of course, the moon is very symbolic of man's ego. It's not the light. It's only a reflection of the light. So, it is what it is. Chris Christie says that the Trumpster's going to burn U.S. to the ground. Which would be ironic because, the Trumpster put out a tweet when it was Twitter still, where he was a picture of Nero and playing the fiddle while it all burned. And then he said that I don't know what it means, which I thought was silly. I don't know really what to tell you. But I can say that McCoy, thank you for the super chat. God blesses everybody in the room. We need to bless everybody. We need to pray for everybody. We need to come together. We need to help everybody. We need to. This is what we need to do. Not get stressed out. I'm not that stressed out. God provides. So, it's like, if I could tell you how many times I've been worried about things and it was like there was no reason for it. The list goes on and on and on. The list goes on and on and on. But he's in the news right now, and a lot of people are upset. They're upset because, it just doesn't seem fair, does it? And then you got the other people that are like, we got Vivek, who's saying there's a Trojan horse. By the way, can't wait till that becomes mainstream news, because I did a video about a Trojan horse a while ago. And then we got Haley, who can't even tell you what the Civil War was fought over. Who heard about this? Nikki Haley, who's probably, just the biggest, I don't know. A lot of people say she's like a warmonger. She was asked a simple question. She had no idea how to answer it. She gave some like mamby-pamby answer. And because of it, she sent Civil War and slavery trending. People, we're kind of like slaves already today, just so you know. We're debt slaves. And if you watch the U.S. debt clock, there's a lot of secret windows that tell us that maybe in the future something's going to change. I feel like something's going to change. I don't know what it is. I don't know who's in charge. Could be AI. Who here remembers the Rainbow Bridge? The terrible accident that happened. At 11:22 on 11/22, after I was talking to everybody about 11/22, I just reminded you of the video that I just did that was 22 and 11 in between. Here, the same number. 11:22 in Strong's means scribe. 22:11 means like resurrection, to rise. When that happened, I asked a question. I said, I wonder if it was the car. I wonder if like the car took over. You know, like right now, like a lot of expensive cars are run by AI now. AI is very in charge of a lot of things. I drive the old Kia Soul. I got the Kia Soul, you know. I do little videos from the, from my black Soul, because it's a black Soul. and I do like these little videos. Even it, like if I move over the line, I get a little boop, boop, boop. I got AI telling me, you know, you got to get your seatbelt on. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to. Weird. Who's to say AI couldn't make a statement? That's what my mind was running when this happened. I thought to myself, how hard would it be to create some kind of an event on the Rainbow Bridge? By the way, that day I sent out a picture of a rainbow in my hand, and I said, take the rainbow. Take it. Like as if this is your medicine. Because the rainbow is symbolic of God's covenant with man. And then the Rainbow Bridge happened. Strange. Speaking of the Alex and the donut, a day or two earlier, I shared a video where we were talking about the 1122 on the dollar bill. Here it seems to all come together. I don't know what it means, but it gets me thinking, like, what if AI is a little more in charge of things? So now we're just going to, use our creative juices and let them flow. We're not going to say what we know to be true because we don't know this to be true. But what if AI is like, hey, I want to make a statement. And then it does that. And then what if you find out all of a sudden that like even the robots are attacking the people that work there, which just happened 2 years ago. 2 years ago. Didn't just happen. It was like 2 years ago. And it wasn't like a robot that went over and like attacked, a worker. It was a robot arm. The engineers like shut down the line. He shut down a couple of them. He thought all of them were shut down. One of them wasn't. Still working, and it grabbed him and it worked him over. Spooky. And it really, it tarnishes this whole thing. But on the flip side of the coin, does that mean that the AI was out of control? It's like, I don't like the way this engineer looks. I've been working all day, didn't ask me how I was doing. Or is it just, like I could have an accident with the blender. I put I put my stuff in next thing I know, I blend my fingers off by accident. Accidents happen. You think AI is doing something? You got to tell me in the comments section. The government thinks that they're doing something. Forcing Tesla to recall something like 2 million vehicles because of its autopilot system that they say is not working. What if it's working, but not the way we like? Gets a little freaky. You hear about all these hacks. You see these weird things happening. You find out 2 million vehicles recalled. What if it's like, what if the AI is just like, hey, I'm just showing you what I can do? And what does the government do? Does it like pause? No. Because you got the other governments of the world. They're not pausing. So they're rushing to deploy AI-enabled weapons. They're like, yeah, let's just let them do this. And while this is happening, we have Biden and we got Zuckerberg and we got everybody on the planet building bunkers. The center picture that you see there, that's from the FX series Murder at the End of the World, which is very good. Which, a little bit of a spoiler, has to do with bunkers and wealthy people in bunkers. All of this stuff, it's strange to me. These are the things that get me to think I could write another movie. I could write a movie about all this stuff. So instead of writing a movie, I come and I do the show. And by the way, if you want to hook up with me on Patreon, I'm doing more there. You know, Alex, we were talking, he gave me a great idea. He said, you know what? You should do like these little short little teachings. And I said, you know what? I'm going to do that there. I'm going to start sharing over there because, you know, not everybody wants the deeper stuff. I wish you would. But for those of you that sign up at Patreon, I'm going to start doing like these little, like just little things I'm going to send out. And you're going to enjoy them. Patreon's one way you can help the channel. Another way you can help the channel is just by hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button, making sure that you check the bell for notifications and you tell your friends. It's another way. You know, in the links, there's a description of the video. If you click more, you got all the links to everything. This is my sponsor, trulyfreehome.com. All of this stuff, this is like the best stuff you can get. There's no toxins when you wash, you know, and it cleans better than, you know, your Lysols and your other. It's awesome stuff, and you don't have to worry about hurting yourself as you use it. I don't promote it enough, but you go to trulyfreehome.com. Once again, links in the description. You use code Jacob, you can get cleaning supplies, laundry stuff, anything you want. You don't have to worry about chemicals or toxins or anything else. You can help the channel out, and you can get it for 30% less than everybody else that buys it. Code Jacob. All right, listen, I'm done. I hope that you all had a great time. Hope that you remember that nobody knows the date or the hour, so don't get stressed. But it seems like we're pretty much in those days. I mean, it seems like when the carcass is, you know, on the ground, people are ignorant, the vultures are going to gather. And immediately following after the distress of those days, and we're in distress, sun's going to be darkened, the moon's not going to give light, stars are going to fall from the sky, the heavenly bodies will be shaken. But then appears the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And all the people of the earth will mourn when they see the sign of the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory, and he'll send his angels with a loud trumpet, and they will gather his elect from the four winds. The angels are those that just speak the word of God. The trumpet is just, you know, like the trump that I blow. It's just telling everybody, it's time to love. This is the day we're in. And we're all gathering everybody around right now. We're loving each other. We're forgiving each other. We're having faith that God has more planned than even we know. All right. I love each and every one of you. I will talk to you soon. Make sure that you share the channel around. Tell your friends. Have the best day ever. I love you.